Hi, I'm Christina, Associate Executive Director for the Baptist General Convention of Texas. We serve 5,300 churches across the great state of Texas, and I want to take just a few minutes to tell you why we as Texas Baptists are strongly opposed to gambling and why legalized gambling is a bad bet for Texas. The number one reason why we are opposed to gambling is because gambling takes advantage of the poorest and most vulnerable among us. In the Bible, in Genesis chapter 4, Cain was asked by God about the whereabouts of his brother Abel. Of course, Cain had murdered Abel. But Cain replied to God, "Am I my brother's keeper?" The answer is yes, you are. We are expected to look after one another, to love, care, and protect each other. Our Texas legislators are charged with protecting the weakest and most vulnerable among us. But if they vote to legalize gambling, it is statistically proven to most harm the poorest among us. According to the University of Buffalo Research Institute on Addictions, the poorer the neighborhood, the higher the risk for problem gambling. Their study, published in the Journal of Behavioral Addictions, proves that the poor are most likely to waste their money on gambling. Before joining the staff of the Baptist General Convention of Texas, I was pastor of Shiloh Terrace Baptist Church in East Dallas. The church is located in a lower to middle income neighborhood. I'll never forget one church member requesting benevolence assistance. She told me, "I have to hide the grocery money from my husband. He'll waste it on lottery tickets and sometimes spends up to $100 a month on it. He's sick." Habitual gambling is a mental illness. It's a siren song appealing to our base desire to get rich quick. And make no mistake, the gambling industry is funded by those who can least afford to lose their money and who are most likely to become addicted. But it's not just the poor who struggle with the addiction of gambling in this country. Gambling also adversely affects the young. Jesus says in Matthew 18:6, "If anyone causes one of these little ones to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea." Almost 1 million young people in the United States, aged 14 to 21, are gambling addicts. 75% of college students have admitted to gambling in the past year. The more we open the door to the gambling industry in Texas, the more we are condemning the younger generation and the poor to a lifelong struggle that will lead to higher rates of crime, mental illness, divorce, and even suicide. Just think about that statement for a moment. Gambling leads to higher rates of crime, mental illness, divorce, and suicide. And that makes gambling a bad bet for Texas. So what are the so-called benefits to Texas for legalized gambling? A few more tax dollars? That may be true, but think about the economic cost of losing those gambling dollars for our state's economy. A slot machine is nothing more than a black hole that sucks dollars out of Texas. It does not support local jobs or businesses. It funnels the money to businesses located out of state and often into the pockets of organized crime. Every dollar gambled away is a dollar that could have been spent on clothes, groceries, or local businesses that support jobs, manufacturing, local products, and services. Casino slot machine style gambling is an inefficient, unreliable, and regressive form of revenue generation that preys upon the poor, relies upon addiction for profit, and cannibalizes the local economy. Casinos represent the worst of a predatory business model that is failing nationwide. The entire state of Nevada generates only about $1 billion in gambling tax revenue a year, but at what cost to their citizens? I spoke recently to one of our pastors who is 1/4 Native American from the Choctaw tribe. He said, "I can tell you from personal experience, the casino industry does not support the whole tribe, but only a handful of the rich at the top." I called him and told him about this video. His church in Garland has over 6,000 members, and he said, "Let our legislators know we're watching this issue and we will support those who vote gambling down. Psalm 82 verses 3 and 4 says, "Defend the weak and the fatherless. Uphold the cause of the poor and the oppressed. Rescue the weak and the needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wicked." The people of Texas have elected our legislators to make wise decisions that will bless the people of our state. Gambling will destroy lives, period. Make no mistake about it, gambling hits the poorest and the youngest among us the hardest. It will increase rates of crime, mental illness, suicide, and divorce. It sucks money out of the local economy, and it will hurt our society much more than benefit it. The greed of gambling will destroy our great state. And that makes gambling a bad bet for Texas. Thank you for doing the right thing to protect our citizens. May the Lord bless you with wisdom and discernment as you make good choices for Him.